Not even the trades can deny it anymore, even though they tried to try and prop it up, tried to say that, this is going good, at some good traction with amount, all of that. At this point, it is impossible to deny it anymore. Thunderbolts has absolutely flopped at the box office. It is not going to make 400 million. That is pretty much evident at this point. Let's go to this article here from Variety, and then I'm going over to Cosmic Book News to go over in more detail. So Variety has come out and put out this article saying Thunderbolts lost millions of dollars despite great reviews. Where does Marvel go next? Now, I watched Thunderbolts. I didn't really like the movie at all. I mean, I'm not going to say it was terrible, it was horrible, but it wasn't good in my opinion. There were a lot of things that I had serious problems with in that movie. But I will admit that the movie was getting some good word of mouth. So people were saying, the movie was good. Not a lot of people. Not a lot of people saying it was, but some people were saying it was good. But we have reached to the point now where that isn't even helping the MCU anymore. The only thing that they have left to really rely on is nostalgia bait. That's it. You look at Deadpool and Wolverine, and like I said, the Deadpool and Wolverine was very fun. It's a very, very funny movie. But it wasn't actually overall a good movie. The plot was kind of bloody ridiculous. But, it had a whole bunch of different cameos in there. They had Blade, they had Human Torch, they had this one, other one, all of that they had in there. You understand me? All Electra and all of this they had in there. You look at the last Spider-Man movie, they brought back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. You understand me? This is what the MCU is going for it now. I mean, you have Avengers Doomsday coming out, and that is packed with nostalgia bait. Literally packed with it. And if that movie fails, that's going to be saying something, because when you need that much nostalgia bait to try and push an Avengers movie, that is when you should know something is very wrong. Something is very, very wrong, because I can tell you, the other Avengers movies never needed any kind of nostalgia bait. They were Avengers movies, and that's what happened. But you got rid of all your Avengers. You killed off Iron Man, aged up Captain America, turned the Hulk into a hipster moron. Black Widow's gone. You made Thor into a freaking laughing stock. Hawkeye, he left, and then get this whole thing with Jeremy Renner was talking about how, he wasn't coming back for the second season because they literally wanted to pay him half of what he was paid before. It's the MCU has shot itself in the foot again and again, and this is what's happening. Let me go through a bit of what they have to say in regards to this here. Days after Thunderbolts hit the big screen, Disney CEO Bob Iger was feeling celebratory. He publicly touted the comic book adventure as the first and best example of Marvel's new movie strategy, referring to the film's positive reception from audiences and critics. Boy, was he wrong. And what a relief following a bumpy few years and a string of poorly reviewed misfires in the franchise. 6 weeks later, Thunderbolts has cratered at the box office. With 371 million globally, it's one of the lowest grossing installments in all of Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe. If this is the second coming of Marvel, the superhero empire might need another reboot. I think it's only done better than Incredible Hulk and the Marvels, which is the lowest. So that's it. They said 371 million globally. Yeah, let's check over at the numbers, and it's 379 million globally. It's struggling to even reach 390. I think it's not going to reach 400 at this point, and that's pretty much evident. You could see the fall off. He is not going to make it, and it's like at the time of this video, this is up to day 46, and it's not even bringing in. It's bringing like 120, 128 per theater. Yeah, this is done. I think its cinematic run is going to end sometime. I believe it might be the end of June. It's going to end. So what it's going here, it might go past 380, but that is it. It's not going to get two, three. It's not going to get to the 390. It sure as hell is not going to get to 400 million. So yeah, that's it. That is it right there. That's what they had to say. Now, in this Variety article, it try to butter it up a little bit and try to say, well, it thing, man, and this happened, and the other, but you know, Cosmic Book News delivers the delivers it straightforward here, and gets to why this happened, why this went wrong, and what it is. This is what I'm going to go through here because this article, it's official. Thunderbolts is a massive bomb. New Avengers failed to assemble. Yeah, because trying to call it New Avengers was supposed to make people interested, even though none of these people are Avengers, and then you don't really care about any of them. But what you gonna do? Right, so I'm confirming that for the past months, the trades are now playing catch up and have confirmed Marvel's Thunderbolts is another massive bomb from Kevin Feige. The new Avengers have failed to assemble. Well, of course they did. After 6 weeks, Thunderbolts is as they say 377 here, but again it's now 379. So that's what's going on, which is well under the reported 425 million break-even number. It also comes in under the Captain America Brave New World worldwide haul of over 415 million. Recall Disney recently named Cap 4 in its investor report as a big loss, so expect the same for Thunderbolts. Yeah, so Falcon Cap lost money, even though that made over 400 million. It did not even make it to 5. That has lost money, and now Thunderbolt is not even going to make it to 400 million. So that is going to be an even bigger blow there. New Avengers bombing also follows Bob Iger desperately trying to sell the movie prior to its release, when he said the flick was the first and best example of Marvel's new movie strategy. Well, how'd that work out? Oh, yeah. It's reported that the Thunderbolts budget was kept low for a Marvel movie said to be 118 million instead of 200 million plus. But we see that didn't matter, and the film still failed to deliver. It's the second worst performing MCU movie, only better than the Marvels. Now that hurts. Yeah, not only Marvels, but Incredible Hulk. Yeah, but they don't really consider Incredible Hulk fully to be a MCU movie. But regardless of it, it is the Marvels is the lowest. Regarding the trades, when they stop shilling and start reporting the truth, that's when you know things are really bad. Exactly. Because like I said, they were trying their darndest to put a positive spin on this and to say that, Thunderbolts is doing this and all it wasn't. Oh, Thunderbolts just hit 185 million worldwide and all of that. And you were like, most movies get out in like a weekend, but they were struggling to get that. Right, so they talk about the Variety article here. Right, so Thunderbolts is the latest Marvel movie to lose millions of dollars in theaters, states the site. Pre-pandemic, 19 out of 22 Marvel movies cracked 500 million at the global box office. Starting in 2020, just 6 out of 13 films have reached that $500 million benchmark. However, what they won't tell you is the reason why the MCU movies have failed. And this is why I am going with this article, because Variety chose to completely find ways to ignore this. But when it comes to Cosmic Book News, they actually dealt with it. Disney, Marvel, and the shill sites continue to spin things that too much content is to blame. The real reason for the blame is not too much content. It's the fact that they chose to serve up the agenda of telling a quality story. Now, here's the thing. Yes, it is too much content. I've said that before, because it is now homework to watch an MCU movie. You need to watch like 2 or 3 Disney Plus shows, which aren't good, which are literally freaking terrible, in order to watch a movie. And this is why I have such a problem with this whole MCU shared universe thing, because they are trying to act like, the MCU is the primary Marvel universe, which it is not. It is not. Even when Netflix was doing their Marvel series, Deadpool, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and I'll mention Iron Fist, but we don't really like that one. They would only make subtle talks and talks about it. They would they would dive in head first into it because they were focusing more on the story aspect. They're not doing that over here. They're putting out terrible stories, pushing agendas that nobody cares about, and then acting like you're supposed to love it. Who wants to see Kingpin crying his eyes out? Who wants to see Echo turn into super Native American woman? Nobody. But you keep putting out this garbage and then expecting people to just love it. No, you have ruined yourself to the point where nobody wants to watch anything. Literally anything. Case in point is Thunderbolts, which is all about Florence Pugh as Yelena. She's a character who has no business headlining an MCU blockbuster, let alone the first appearance of the new Avengers. Yet she doesn't. She has zero superpowers. She's depressed, a character. First appeared in the failed Black Widow movie. No one watched the Disney Plus shows. I'm trying to understand why they have her in there with it. I mean, like, I'm okay, look, White Widow could work. And like I said, when it is that Yelena first appeared, she was an interesting and fun character. When you decided to just make her depressed and miserable, how is that supposed to do anything? And then you have the rest of the Thunderbolts who make no sense. Okay, we have Red Guardian, who is just a literal joke. That's it. He's not actually doing anything. He's just, there. You have US agent who literally got shafted out of being Captain America and never got over it. You have Ghost, who was in the was in the Ant-Man movie, then you never saw her again. And who else? You had like gender swap Taskmaster, who got killed, and good riddance for that. And then you have Bob, who's the Sentry, who you did nothing to build up the character with. What were you hoping was going to happen? But for some reason, I can oh, Yelena is so great. I'm saying again, why would you make this character so depressed and miserable and then act like this is what people want to see? It doesn't make sense. Thunderbolts also followed the massive failure of the Marvels, where the fans sent Feige a message of their own. Yeah, I'm betting he got that message. We don't want it. Instead of giving fans what they want, Feige not only doubled down, but tripled down. As up next is Fantastic Four, which is another female-driven movie. Yeah, I mean, at this point, maybe this time this coming realize, Kevin Feige needs to move on because he can't seem to get out of his own rear end at this point. Honestly. The Shills also can't blame the fanboys, as they make up a majority of the audience. It's the women who don't care. Look, the women don't care. The majority of fanboys are fed up. Everybody overall is fed up. Even people who try to shill for it are literally making fools of themselves because they literally only want to swallow anything that these people are telling them, and it's not panning out at all. We warned Disney this was what was going to happen. You alienating your audience to push an agenda because that's what Twitter was telling you. But you have to understand that people are on Twitter every day because they have no lives, they have no money, they're clearly not going to support anything. But you won't listen. And this is why you keep losing billions of dollars. Variety hints there may be truth to the rumors of a behind-the-scenes clash between Kevin Feige and Bob Iger. At this point, I really don't care, because Bob Iger is on his way out. I don't know what Kevin Feige is still doing there if he cannot even attempt to get some kind of thing. And I mean, after the Avengers movie, he wants to bring in the X-Men, and I still doesn't seem to realize, you've poisoned the well so badly now, nobody's gonna drink from it. According to the report, Marvel appears to be shifting away from lesser known characters and refocusing on major blockbusters like Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Avengers level events until it is they decide to ruin those two, which we know they will. Meanwhile, rumors say that Feige wants the upcoming X-Men reboot to lean into social commentary, while Iger is pushing for more mainstream action-driven spectacle that's a proven success. You hear this nonsense again. So yeah, that's what's going on, people. They have the Thunderbolts, the new Avengers, whatever the hell they want to call them, has failed massively. Understand? Even Variety has come out and admitted that fact, because there is no hiding this anymore. You look at the numbers, it's a disaster. That's what it is. So yeah, Variety has to admit it, and everybody else has to admit it. Thunderbolts is a bum. I'm not surprised. I told you this was going to happen. Again. I know people like the movie. I have nothing against it, but I'm just saying, at this point, the MCU has damaged themselves so badly there may very well be no coming back. That is how bad it is. Because if all they have left is just nostalgia bit, that is going to run out at some point when you eventually ruin that too. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification. You'll be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.